one of my number one priorities that I spend the first 60 to 90 minutes on, it's in the category of leadership.
The leader gets the result that they want by serving the people that are in their business, getting the things that they need for their life that they want to live.
My number one tip is what's important and what's not important.
You're able to execute on what it is you actually want, and then you actually start building self-identity, self-belief that you can handle these hard things, and these things that were hard before are just normal routine.
If you can hone in on that 1 to 2 priorities, that's going to drive the needle in these other things that you're doing on a daily basis, then everything else lifts up.
Maybe you just do something slightly different, just slightly. Like you're not revolutionizing your life right now. It never lasts, never works. Just slow incremental progress, 0.1% every day, 36% at the end of the year. And in 10 years with compounding interest, you're just a different human being. Even if you're not the leader yourself, you still are a leader. You need to lead yourself. You can lead your leadership.
Where are you multitasking? Where are you just showing up and doing non-important tasks? I'm going to be the person that shows up with vitality. I'm going to be the person that does the uncomfortable things. It's time to perform.
You've been trying for years and it still hasn't happened yet. You've put all the energy, the effort in, and you're still scratching your head. Why has it not happened? You know, there's this vision in our minds, that thing you want, the way you want it to be, the way you want it to feel. There's got to be some form of vision that you have for yourself, and it's so hard to get. You're not there yet, and you're just waiting, wondering, what am I missing? What am I doing? And I think it's not a secret. These are not secrets by any means, but these are the key elements that will create visions into reality. This is it. Like, it's not rocket science. It's not even that sexy. It's actually boring. I was actually thinking about that for another podcast title, was like, success is boring. Like it really, to get what you want, it's just a lot of the same thing over and over again with tweaking to get better at it. But there are key elements, a structure, a number of things that you can do in sequence. And when you have the sequence right, it happens. So when we say this is finally what you need in the title there, that's what we're going to talk about today. This episode right here. You do these things, long periods of time, anything you want, you will have. That's a fact. I've put these principles into effect. That's how I got to America. It's how I've achieved all the goals that I've been after, things I've wanted. And I know Sean is the same way. We really focusing hard on what has brought us these things and the hiccups and the pitfalls. And this is it. So let's jump in.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah. So when I think of vision, I did not have vision, Ewan, or clarity in my 20s and even early 30s. And I was just light speed, Godspeed, all over the place, hamster in the wheel, cog, without the clarity and the vision.
What did you have, did you have something in your mind at that age? Like, man, this would be awesome if life looked like that thing. Do you remember?
No, man. I remember vividly. And it actually brings me back to, I was on a coaching call yesterday with a potential coachee that was referred to me. And I got on, so 11, you know me, I'm by the book, right? So it's like, okay, if you got a call that's set up, you're going to call at this call. It was set up for 11:15. So I'm like waiting for the phone, and it says in the calendar, call at 11:15. So I'm waiting for this guy to call. It didn't call. Well, we're all human beings. Stuff happens, right? 3 minutes goes by, 4 minutes goes by, and I realized I was like, okay, this guy is not calling me. So you know what? I'm going to pick up the phone, and I called him. So I called him. As soon as I got on the phone, he's like, hey, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now it's still a good time. Yep. Yeah, go ahead. He goes, I got a minute. And I'm like, I just want to make sure I got the right guy. He goes, yeah, you do. As like you had booked, and you were referred to me. We're going to block off 15 minutes, just still a good time. And he goes, yeah, I got a few minutes. I was like, well, man, it's going to take a little bit longer than a few minutes. Do we need to reschedule? He goes, well, no, I got 15 minutes. And he goes, sorry, man. I'm just sorry. I just work at light speed. I work at light speed. So when I hear you ask me that question, I resonated so much with that because that is all I focused on was just light speed. And I didn't have any direction or vision or clarity on when did I go. I was just here in the now, focusing on light speed in the moment, what I was doing. I didn't necessarily know where I was going to go and where it was going to take me to a certain degree. But oh my gosh, man, I when he said that, I was like, I immediately thought, go slow to go fast. He was going so fast because he was in his mid-20s, 25, 26. He was going so fast. I was like, that was me going so fast that here's the key ingredient. I didn't slow down enough to ask myself what it is that I actually am trying to obtain here. Yeah. Where am I going? Who's going to get me? Who's going to get me there? How am I going to get there? Asking myself the hard questions to paint that picture, that visualization, personally and professionally.
Is there a fear of slowing down? Like what would happen if you slowed down? Can you recall, or even some of your coachees, like if you peel back the onion layers, like when you're running towards something, you're also running away from something.
Yeah.
What would you put your finger on that?
Yeah. So when I am in those shoes, right, even to this day, it's a challenge because like I find myself, depending on the personality, like your type of personality, even yourself, you're a high achiever in the things that you do, right? So there's certain tasks and responsibilities on a daily basis that you have to get done to move that needle, whether it's a customer call, an email, building a relationship, entering, in reports or whatever it may be. So all these different tasks and responsibilities that we as human beings go through on a daily basis that I've realized. And so then we pick our head up and go, okay, yeah, I had a great busy day. I had a great productive day, right? And everybody that I've ever coached, they're always doing something. Yeah. We're always doing something.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Is it aligned and is it doing the right things to actually move the needle that's headed in that North Star, that direction that you want to steer that ship?
Yeah.
Because you can get in a boat, but where is that boat? Where's the GPS going?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, even myself included, I didn't know where that boat was going. I just jumped in, knew that I had to make sure meals were cooked for my team, make sure that the sailboat was, going and the motor was turning and, the roars were out and all these different things that it takes to go in a boat. But where is it actually going? Where am I going to end up? Where's the destination? Where's the outcome? And am I enjoying the process in between?
I think, I was thinking about myself and with what you're saying too, like you'd have to stop the boat, you'd have to turn the engine off, bring the sail down and just kind of throw the anchor down, which does not feel good.
Yes.
Because you're not going anywhere. And if you're not going anywhere, that's kind of like panic stations. Like we don't know what to do in stopped mode, but it's within the stop mode that you can navigate. Right.
Yeah.
Now you can look at the map. You can't look at it when you're doing 100 miles an hour on your speedboat. So when you think about slowing down, looking at the map, you have to, it's almost an emotional, like a dopamine, like emotional discipline to be able to slow down. And once it's actually really beneficial to slow down because it's actually going to allow me to go much, much faster directly to where I want to go instead of zigzagging across. Run into one island. This isn't an island I need to be at. You go to another one super fast. This isn't an island. This is not my destination. Oh, eventually I found out where I was. If you're lucky, you'll have enough gas in the tank to make it to where you're going to go. But if you just stopped and looked at the map, even though it was painful to stop, you just be a beeline, like just straight to the destination. But yeah, I guess there's a fear of that slowing down means you're not going anywhere and you're not going to get anywhere. And so I think maybe it's just an emotional maturity to say, and also understand it's going to be like for me also, it's a little, it almost feels like physical pain to slow down and stop. Like I don't want to do this mundane detail little things. I'm just going to go. I'll figure it out on the way. So yeah, I think emotional control. I mean, we talked about that. Emotional control is one of the things I'm after this year. Even more so, I realized the power of feeling the emotion in the body and realizing, that's not interpreting that as internally, but really thinking of that emotional thing in the body. It's a physical thing. And when you can pinpoint that physical, like, is it in the stomach? Is it in the throat, the chest? And you can say, it's just a feeling. It's not a connection of what I'm interpreting in my mind's eye of this scariness, like all the things that could happen in life. No, it's just a feeling in my body. And when I acknowledge that, I'm like, okay, the adult's back in the room now. What do I need to do? I need to plan. I need to slow down. But that emotional feeling, it's no joke. Like you feel it. Like, I don't want to stop because I don't want to feel this thing in my body. Do you resonate with that at all?
Yeah, you bring up a good point. And man, it's a lot of times like when you are making progress, right? And we're recording this early January, people's emotions are up, their feelings are high. It's like everybody talks about the New Year's resolutions. And so I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get that house. I'm going to make more money, right? And so we have these goals. And so we tie these emotions, which is a compelling nature behind it. It's that why. But here's the thing. It's like what you just brought up. We get to a place where it's a week later, 2 weeks later. And I think next Friday, I don't remember the date, it's Quit Friday.
Yeah.
We let the emotions get the better half of us because we're not emotionally controlling our emotions. Yeah. We're not aware of it and removing ourselves from it.
Yeah.
It goes back to what we talked about with the coaching call, with the strategy call yesterday with this individual. He was in the moment. He was making things happen. He even told me he's at the dealership. He's hustling. He's light speed. His emotions, he was creating that momentum.
Yeah.
But if he would have came from a place of, he knew, see, here's my question. Sir, why did you sign up for the coaching call in the first place? Why did you sign up for the strategy call? Yeah. Right? That's the first question. There's something lying behind when you don't have the light speed, let's go, the hustle and the grind.
Yeah.
Because that's in our DNA, right? That's in our DNA, every single fight or flight. We got to go. We got to make things happen. We got to task, responsibilities, kids, business, right? But then there was a reason why he signed up for that strategy call because there's something that he's missing. And for him, it was he wanted to break through his leadership lid because he's leading a team of 7 team members.
Wow.
And so he felt like he was popping up against the ceiling. And so he couldn't help his team get to where they want to go. And so he knew that he needed to look outside of that. I'll share this with you. I thought it was super fascinating. I was actually going to share it with this individual that you know. But I was like, hey, how did you hear about me? He's like, oh, well, this guy, I've noticed in the last 12 or 18 months, he's just really skyrocketed. I'm like, who are you talking about? And he goes, just to make sure, right? Confirmation. He said his name. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I've really enjoyed this journey and really enjoyed working with him. And he's really just leaned in and been coachable and just really reinvesting back in himself, plugging himself into communities, holding himself accountable, and just really proud of him. He goes, yeah, I've noticed that about him. And just his vibe every time I've talked to him or called him on the phone and some of the things that he shared in his business. And he goes, and I go, well, so what made you reach out? He's like, I want some of that.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of that. And I said, I was thinking in my mind, some of these things that he's done. He's held himself accountable. He's had the accountability partners. He's plugged himself into the communities.
Really plugged himself in.
Yes.
If you think about it, that's all he's done. I think I know who you're talking about. He's just hung around and listened to the people who had what he needed.
That's right.
And he's absolutely exploded.
Yeah. But what was fascinating is because when you listen to people, Ewan, and you're talking to them, and then you're like, oh, I'm doing too much talking. It's going one ear and out the other with him. It started. He wanted it. He saw it, but was he willing to match his actions with what he wanted?
Yeah,
he's not, because the only call to action said, hey man, I'll send you over an email on what the details look like. Send me your email or shoot me your email so I can have the office send it over. Do you think he ever sent that email?
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it.
Wow. Yeah. If I was to just analyze from hearing that, he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Missed the phone call. Wasn't aware that he had the phone call. Didn't acknowledge it, and then didn't follow up with the email. So what you do in one place, you're doing it other places. So that's happening within the business, and his 7 employees are experiencing that too. Yes. So it's going to be a matter of time before half of them are gone. He's going to have to. And you'll attest to this. That's when you're forced to slow down and really analyze and look at yourself, and then the leadership journey begins. Like how do you? The shortcut is the long road. Like the time going the distance is the shortcut. There is no other shortcut. Try the silver bullet, the fast track. It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
which is wild.
It makes me. I'm smiling right now because it makes me think. Like with what we're talking about and align with, it's like when we talk about instant scenarios like that, and we've both been there, right? I work 10 hours today. I work 12 hours today. And we're like super proud of that. And to me, it's like, it's busyness. It's like, it's actual busyness. And so, and the reason I'm able to say that is because when I reflect back and go, well, what did I get done in that 12 hours? What did I get done in that 14 hours, that 16 hours? And so if you feel like you're falling behind listening to this, and even myself, I'm looking at myself, if you feel like you're falling behind, it's because it's not, you don't need more time. We all have the same amount of time during the days.
Yeah.
It's because you're lacking clarity and accountability and focus.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned. Clarity, accountability, and focus.
Yeah.
Right. And so once you have that clear picture, once you have that visualization on where you're going, and then you're going to have these different seasons from what I've learned. And for us, I know it's been very powerful because you've been able to paint that picture for you on the weekly planner every Sunday. That helps steer your ship.
Yeah.
Right.
Huge.
On what it is that you're doing. And that accountability, like this is an accountability. And I feel like that accountability is the key ingredient. And it's kind of the word that I'm going to tattoo all over my body in 2025. So people just get the picture of it.
It is. Well, we've talked about it, having clarity and vision, got to have it. Game plan, because you can have the vision, but if you don't have a plan, like you kind of, it's going to be difficult to get to where you're going to go, like the map, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be bouncing. You know what you want, you just don't know how to get it. So the plan will help you do that. Those two are great, but if you really want to make it happen for sure, and this is the hardest part, accountability.
Yeah.
You add those three together, and there's nothing you won't get, nothing, because you're clear on what you want, you know how to get it, and the only thing that can sabotage it is yourself.
That's right.
And the best way to handle sabotage, self-sabotage, is having an accountability partner or somewhere to be accountable to, because it holds you on track, keeps you on course. You try and self-sabotage, and you don't, that's the thing with self-sabotage, you don't know you're doing it.
That's right.
You don't deliberately do it. And so you can't see it. That's the whole thing about a blind spot. So you have to have someone see it for you. That's the accountability. They bring you right back on track, and they just keep doing it for you. And so that's why it accelerates all results, and you get where you want to go so much faster. And to compound on that, momentum is just imperative. Like if you lose momentum, it's so hard to grind. Like it's so hard. Like most businesses, I think, are killed with lack of momentum.
Yep. Agreed.
And so by having the accountability, you keep the momentum. You keep getting pulled back on track to head towards your North Star, your goal. And so you constantly keep that momentum, and it feels great. What a great journey.
Yes.
All the opposite of that. Okay, no clarity. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how to get it. You got no one there to back you up when you get off. You're already off track, and you have zero momentum.
Oh,
and then
awful.
you look and think, how am I 50 pounds overweight? Why is my business going? Where's my bank account at? And my wife's not happy, or husband's not happy. Like, it's because you didn't have those simple, boring things in your life. And that's what's missing. And anywhere in my life too, like where I feel like I'm off, it's one of those three things. I'm missing one of those. So I need to sit down and be like, okay, which one is it? And get back on track.
It reminds me of one of my individuals that's on our team. He's an up and coming sales leader, and he's really putting in the work. And he got to almost his 3 years in. December is always that time of year where you start reflecting, making, New Year's resolutions. What do you want your 2025 to look like? And he experienced some burnout, some fatigue, because he had really laid it all on the playing field in December. So I said I knew exactly what he had needed after asking him some questions. And I said, look, next week, we're going to meet up one-on-one. I'm going to pour my heart and soul, ask you some bunch of questions. And 90 minutes, you're going to get all my time, energy, and effort into it. And then I'm going to bring a tool that's going to help you get you to where you want to go in these different areas of life, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So you know how you've left it all on the playing field by your intensity, by being super clear and holding yourself accountable in your business realm. He goes, yep, you're going to apply those same principles and same fundamentals in these other areas of life, fitness, with your marriage. And I'm going to have this tool, so it'll be a reflection, so you can look at it, right? Where's the ship going? I met up with him. We got our coffee. We sat down and we went right to work. And immediately I laid it all out for him. I shared some context. I shared the reasoning behind each of these contexts. And this simple piece of paper that was in front of him, which was the weekly planner, the personal exceptionals, the professional exceptionals, the breaking down of gratitude. What are you grateful for? Is your diet in place?
Yeah.
These are all checking off the boxes. What does Monday through Sunday look like? He immediately looked at me within 3 minutes, Ewan, and goes, where's this been my entire life? Right? And this dude's almost in his 40s. And so immediately I could see like a big weight come off his shoulders, because it was something to look forward to. It was something to pivot and adjust and tweak, and almost an accountability, right? The weekly planner is an accountability to a certain degree, because you're planning out and you're mapping out what it is you want your week to look like. So we're sitting down and I'm breaking each of these down, and he's already wanting to fill it out. I'm like, you can do that on your time. Not right now. And so I know he's been working on it the last couple of weeks, but you can just feel the vibes from him being able to work on that weekly planner because he's super clear and he's making adjustments every single week on these different areas of life on, you know what, I'm struggling a little bit. I'm at a 6 out of 10 this week in my marriage. Let me pick that back up by doing this, by being very intentional about this, that what I'm wanting to do for my wife. And so I just thought that was super powerful by having that tool, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, if it's hard even having it written down because you got life coming at you. If you don't have it written down, you don't stand a chance, man. Like
light speed, bro. Light speed.
Light speed. That's it. If you don't know where it's all at because you're not slowing down, that's why you go fast, because you don't have any other strategy. You just know that one's going to maybe make something happen
right there
at some point. Yep. Yeah, that's really it. So it's a defense mechanism, and you don't ever want to be on the defense. It feels like offense. Being busy is not good, though. Like being busy is not offense. It feels like it, but it's not. So it's a defensive move, and you don't want to be in that realm, because it's only a matter of time before the offense crushes you. You can only hold the wave of life. You can only hold that back for so long, as opposed to if you were on the offense, constantly attacking, and you know what you're doing, like you have a play, it's easy to follow. And so you're not having to defend. So I think, having that clarity, the game plan would be the planner. And it's really its own a piece of accountability as well. Man, if you bring another human being into the fold of accountability, man, we're much more likely as human beings to follow through. Because we know we're going to be held accountable. We don't want to say, I didn't do it, you know?
Well, would he have been able to have that conversation or being able to have the weekly planner or hold himself to a higher standard if he wouldn't have reached out and said those things, been vulnerable in the first place? I'm burnt out, I'm fatigued. This is what I'm feeling, because we all feel that way. Cool. Hey, look, I may not have all the answers. We may not have all the answers, but I'm going to plug you in here. Share this tool with you, share this resource, share this podcast with you. And it's up to you to lean in and want that accountability, because you can lead the horse to a trough, but you can't make them drink. So you have to want that. And for him, look what happens when you want that, right? Versus look what happens when your mentality is, you know what, like you have a call, but you don't call when you're supposed to. Light speed, that's your mentality. Man, it's only a matter of time before that's going to blow up in your face, you know? Yeah. And so,
like you said, there's a reason he was reaching out.
That's right.
And he just knows something's wrong. He hasn't come to the realization that he will. It's coming. He's going to know. It's not going to sort itself out. It won't. It won't sort itself out. It's just he's going to hit the rock bottom and sick and tired, something needs to change moment. And that's when people typically, okay, now I'll slow down.
That's right. It's the pain point, the pain. So thanks so much for listening to this. We're wrapping things up. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. That's how we organically grow. We don't do any paid advertising at this time. Let us know what you like about the show. 5-star review, that'd be greatly appreciated. Or, hey, you know what? If you don't like the show, leave us a 1-star review, but be authentic. Share what you don't like about it. Or share it with somebody that needs help with accountability. Maybe that's yourself. Maybe that's a friend or family outside of there. But let us know if there's any future episodes that you would like to hear more of, any challenges, obstacles that you're facing in 2025. We always love to hear from our listeners and audience. We greatly appreciate you. Make sure to subscribe, and outside of that, level up and live.
Level up and live.